Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Edusations. My name is Phil Strunk, and I am your host. And today I'm welcomed by somebody that, if you're active on Twitter Thursday nights around 8 p.m. Eastern Time, you've probably seen her before on Mastery Chat. We have Tiffany here. Tiffany, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the viewers?
Hi guys. So as you said, I kind of created and founded and am always in Mastery Chat every Thursday night. And I have been a teacher for 10 years-ish, I think, which is crazy to say. I've been teaching a decade. I've taught math, science, reading from 3rd grade through 10th grade. You name it, I've had my hands in it. And right now I'm a high school math teacher, and I spend half my time doing work with training teachers at consulting, writing, blogging, chatting, pretty much anything that they tell me to do.
Basically everything, right? And
Basically
so I'm
everything.
hoping we can unpack some of that today because I think
Yeah.
it's awesome. And I want to start first with this Mastery Chat because, again, that's probably where most of the people that are watching the show know you from. Why don't you just go ahead and tell the viewers a little bit about your vision behind founding Mastery
Yeah.
Chat and what your goals are with it and so on and so forth?
So it's funny because before I launched Mastery Chat, I think I literally had probably 20 followers on Twitter. This was a year and a half ago, like a year ago this past May. And we were like, I had just gotten into Twitter, just gotten set up, and was doing a couple different chats. And I was like, this is awesome. We should do this. And a couple weeks later, we did. And we really Mastery Chat started, and the name comes from the fact that all of us involved, myself, Ray Hewart, Jeff Gargas, Chad Ostrowski, we are all pretty much obsessed with mastery learning. We talk about it all the time and help people do it. And so that's where Mastery Chat came from. But it has grown more than I think any of us predicted. And we talk about 1,000 different topics all the time. And I love it. The community that Mastery Chat is this most awesome community in all of Twitter, I think, because the
Yeah,
educators
it's a lot of fun.
yeah, and they're all like, we have the same people come back every week, and we always have new people every week.
Mhm.
And it's just such a vibrant group of teachers who are like, I'm going to go do something awesome, and all y'all are going to help me do it. So I love it.
Yeah, and one of the things that I love that you do every once in a while too is you create these little polls that happen
Yeah,
throughout the chat too, and people are able to look to see, this is what I think about this. What does the rest of Mastery Chat think? So you've really been able to build this strong community of educators talking. But you talk about mastery learning, but you have a lot of different topics that are discussed
yeah.
each and every week. How do you try to bind them together toward that mastery learning goal?
You know, with all of it, it's not so much about mastery learning. Although, if you ask me, I would say that 95% of teachers out there should be using a mastery learning approach because I just think it's awesome. But really, what it's about is saying, here's an idea in education, whatever that idea is, whether it's restorative justice or standards based grading or mastery learning, taking that idea and just boldly going towards it and being willing to examine yourself as a teacher and say, here's where I can be better. Here's where I can be a better teacher. And so mastery learning, I think, mastery learning ties into standards based grading. It ties into formative assessment. I mean, it just ties into so many different things. But the bottom line and the main goal and purpose is just, where are you? Where do you want to be? How can we get there?
Yeah. So then, what does mastery learning look like in let's say your classroom?
Yeah, so I use a structure called the grid method, which you're familiar with, and I'm sure a lot of people on Twitter are because I talk about that all the time too. But pretty much what it is you take your standards for a unit and you break them down into Webb's depth of knowledge levels. If you guys aren't familiar, that's similar to Bloom's, except I think even better. And then you build learning experiences for your students that they move through at their own pace. So every kid is progressing through the content at the pace that they need. And it really removes the teacher from the role of content deliverer and puts them in the role of facilitator. Like, how do you find the content, understand the content, do something with the content, and putting that on the students, right? So the teacher facilitates all that awesome learning that happens. So that was like a 30-second rundown of what the grid method is. But
Yeah, and it's all good stuff too. This has been a big movement in education. It's been a big change since I was in high school,
oh yeah,
not even too long ago.
yeah, yeah.
Right? Not too long ago, 8 9 years. But
Is that all?
Yeah, well, I
Oh
graduated
my
high school.
gosh.
I graduated high school in 2011, and my assistant principal always hates whenever I bring up these age things. So,
Oh my gosh. I was '02. And there's
no
probably
kidding.
people out there who are like, "Oh, too, I was 90."
Or hey,
Wow.
I was like
Okay, time flies.
74. But it's just been a big change, not even within the last decade. What do you think has sparked this idea that we need to that we need to move beyond this like industrial everybody sits in rows, the teacher stands at the front of the room, gives a lecture for the entire
Mhm.
like block or class
Yeah.
period and then assign homework. What's been that shift, do you think?
So this gets into something else that I really geek out about and I get very excited about, and that's instructional technology.
Mm.
And I think that people have wanted to do a personalized, individualized, mastery based classroom for decades. In fact, like back in the 20s and the 30s, there were some pilot programs at schools in Illinois that were trying to make that kind of model happen. But they all get bogged down by the fact that there's a lot of data gathering, analysis, feedback required in that kind of classroom, which is the point because that's all really powerful stuff. But we haven't really had a great way to kind of have tools that let us do that. In the last 10 years, ed tech has just like skyrocketed. And there's a lot of ed tech out there that I would say don't use in your classroom because it's kind of meaningless and a waste of time. But some things like Khan Academy or Ed Puzzle or any of those tools where you can get information quickly and it adapts to the learner's needs, like that just sets us up for mastery learning. And so I think that that has made it possible for teachers to be like, "Oh, I think I could manage that. I think I could handle that." And then you throw in a structure like the grid method that actually lays out how you do it instead of just saying, "Hey, you should do this." Because I tried for years to have a mastery approach and to differentiate for the needs of every kid in my classroom. And my room was chaos and insanity until I really put all these pieces together. And so I think that people in the education community are starting to put those pieces together. And we're seeing it in personalized learning, masterized, mastery
We'll take
learning,
it.
and
We'll use it.
yeah, okay, I like it. And all of these things coming together, they're really at the core of the same thing. And we're just in this beautiful, really stinking cool moment where it's just happening. Can't wait.
Yeah, and that's what my principal Evan Robb continues to tell our faculty. We're at this incredible paradigm shift in education now.
Yeah.
We have all these resources at our disposal, and I think one of the big fears of mastery learning before too, just to kind of echo what you were saying there, was yeah, there was that fear that oh my goodness, I already spend all this time on stuff in my classroom. Now you're telling
Mhm.
me I need to spend more to personalize it, but
Right.
now, yeah, Khan Academy, Ed Puzzle, and a billion other
Yeah.
great ed tech tools out there are making it so that it's no longer this whole I could never do this, but
Yes.
more of questions of how do I do this effectively instead, right?
Well, and I think there's this other layer to it too, and we see it on Twitter every day that we're on there, right? There is
Hmm.
this community of teachers that are really exploding online and being able to connect with teachers not just down the hall, but across the country and across the world. We have
Right.
people in our chat on Thursday nights from India, from Mexico, from Canada, like just everywhere. And that connection has been so powerful because people can say, "Oh, they're doing it there. Maybe I can do it too," which is just awesome.
Yeah. It's that international connection piece.
I
And
love it.
that's one of the benefits the mastery chats brought to us too, is that all of a sudden, you're right, it's international connections, it's out of state and out of city.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Mastery chat was one of the two chats where I connected with a guy who turns out lives about 3 minutes from my house, but we teach
Oh,
at different
I love
schools, so we
it.
never would have met. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. Well,
So
we were talking earlier before we started recording, but Mastery Chat is how I met Adam Yankai, who
yeah,
you had on the podcast a while ago,
yeah.
and he's actually the reason I have my current job that I have. So, the connections that we make is so neat.
It's a flat world,
Yeah.
there's not, but it's not flat Earth. I want to make sure that that's a clarity. The Earth is round, but
Understood, because I would push back on that one with you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Please, I would expect you to. So, one of the ways that you also promote mastery learning is you do a lot of work for the Teach Better team, formerly known as the Grid Method.
Yeah.
If somebody's watching this now and they've never heard of this group,
Yeah.
how would you explain it to them?
It's something I struggle with because, you know, we do so much. The core purpose of the Teach Better team, and the people on the team are Jeff Gargis, Ray Hubert, Chad Ostrowski, and myself. And our fundamental purpose is to help teachers find their path to teaching better. Their path to say, here's where I am, here's where I want to be, how do we get there? And so whether that comes in the form of mastering personalized learning, which we will always like cheerlead for, or if it comes in the form of standards-based grading or challenging the gifted students, whatever, we don't care what it is. We just want to find a way to help you make that happen. And we do that through, oh my gosh, blogging, creating online courses, live training. What don't we do? What else? Oh, we go to conferences. I mean, we just have a
Do
whole
you sing and dance with your PD? You know, that could be the one thing missing.
Sometimes I get very energetic when I'm presenting at conferences. I get very excited about things. Oh, and then the podcast is brand new too, which is exciting. That's Ray and Jeff's little baby. They love it. So it's the Teach Better podcast. They're very excited about that.
So, like, was that the original vision, or was this the original vision of the Teach Better team whenever it was founded, or has there been like a kind of evolution of things as time has progressed?
Yeah. So about, my gosh, was it 5, 6 years ago now? Chad was teaching 8th grade science and had like the worst year of his life. Miserable. Oh, terrible. Almost quit teaching. We've had those years, right? And he decided that, no, I've had bad years. We're like 3 o'clock. Is it here yet? But so he was like, I can't do this. I have to change the way I'm teaching. And that is when the grid method was born. So from that, Jeff, I love this. I love the story of our team. It just makes me so happy. Jeff and Chad were in a band together like a decade ago. And Jeff is like a classic entrepreneur. He has started multiple companies. The guy's a genius. And Chad said, hey, can we write an ebook? Because everyone's asking me how to do the grid method. And Jeff was like, well, we're not writing an ebook. We're changing the world.
That's awesome.
So that's where kind of the grid method came from. And it was really a very mastery learning focused thing. And then I started using it in my classroom. And they said, hey, you know a lot of stuff. Why don't you write some blogs? So that's how kind of I got folded in with my gifted ed tech perspective on things. And then Ray, who's in Illinois and just amazing, that woman blows my mind.
Truth.
She's right. She's got this phenomenal approach to like bringing community into the classroom and doing these mock internships with students that make learning so super real. And so we all just kind of came together and just what started as the grid method mastery learning, let's train some teachers, has turned into really this movement and this philosophy about teaching. And it has been so fun watching transformation.
So, outside of your own team, I feel like Twitter is littered with amazing success stories that have emerged out of everything that you provide. What's a success story that particularly stands out for you as like, wow, this was a home run. Like our team really helped create positive change here.
So hard to choose.
I know.
Because everybody's story is so different.
Right.
I'm going to highlight one. And I don't think this teacher's on Twitter. Maybe I should choose someone that's on Twitter, but I'm going to choose this teacher anyway.
Do it.
We were doing a 2-day workshop in Southern Ohio in June, I think. And there was a teacher who was teaching for like 25 years and was just frustrated with teaching. They went to this training because they were supposed to go to the training. And they were just like, how many years until I'm done? Go through the 2 days of training. And this woman says, this is what I've been waiting for my entire career. This is what I need to actually give my students what they need. And this is what I can use. And it's actually possible for me to use it. And she's gone on and she's created grids and she's launched it in her classroom and she is like, go. She's just
That's awesome.
All in. And so it's stories like that of people who wanted something, who had almost given up on being able to find that thing. And then we can say like, hey, is this the thing? And they're like, that's the thing. And I'm like, yes, it is. You got this.
Yeah, it's so cool whenever you can just meet somebody's needs right where they're at. It's that magic moment, the spark, the light bulb. It's cool.
It's exactly what we do with students.
Exactly. Yeah.
Teaching teachers and training teachers and supporting teachers is exactly like teaching kids. And I think that's why I love what I do so much, because I spend half my time teaching kids and half my time teaching teachers. So I get to do all of it. It's just really neat.
It's all amazing stuff. Well, hey, we talked about the adult part. Let's talk about the kid part too.
Sure.
What exactly is your position at the school that you're at?
Yeah, so this year I'm at a new school, new position. This year has been really interesting because I'm really half time teach better now. They're actually like paying me,
Mhm.
which is interesting. And then I'm half time at Western Reserve Academy in Hudson, Ohio. And I am teaching ninth grade math. And it's a really fun position because I have a gifted intervention specialist degree.
Mhm.
And so I've worked with gifted kids for the last 4 years. And this group is the group of math kids who struggle the most in the whole school. So I get to do the same kinds of
Opening
things
tonight.
that work wonderfully with gifted kids, and I get to do it with these kids and be like, yeah, you can learn and you can do all these awesome things. So I teach a section of Math 11, the freshman math class, and then I also work in their academic center doing one-on-one tutoring with kids who need an extra hand. That's awesome.
So how do you balance doing teach better mastery chat and this position where you're working with these kids, you know,
I don't.
all the time? Bad time management or
No, it's hard because I'm really, really terrible at stepping back from something that I think is awesome, right? So there's no way I could step back from Mastery Chat. There's no way I can step back from blogging or creating my online courses or making killer lesson plans for the students I teach. So I just work all the time. I have to try and take some time. Like the other day, my daughter, and this broke my heart. I have a 6-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And the 6-year-old said to me, Mommy, you work all the time. And I was like, oh, golly, time to find some balance again. But, I just love it so much. I can't pull myself away. So I work till midnight. I wake up at 5 and I work some more because I just love it.
and it's whenever people say that teaching's nothing more than a job that I think of these sort of stories of the time and the
Mhm.
hours that educators put in, that it's like it has to be more. You don't
And
just you don't
you
just
can do
think
it. It's just a job. Like there's teachers out there who go in and they teach from the textbook and they do this and I can't do that. And the teachers, one of the reasons I think Twitter is so cool is because the teachers who are the teachers who are like, yes, I want to grow. I want to be better for my kids. I want to improve all the time. And so it's just such a electric group of people. It's so neat.
yeah, Evan Robb tells us at our faculty meetings at the start of each year, there are three types of teachers.
Yeah.
Those you can't remember,
Yeah.
those you hated, and
Yeah.
those that made a difference in your life. And I'm
Mhm.
hard pressed to think of a teacher that views their position as a job being one of those people that make one of those big influences.
No.
You know, I'm
No.
I'm sure there are cases, maybe here and there, but I think it's the ones that are staying up late, that are working hard and constantly growing to bring
Yeah.
innovative practices. Those are the ones that kids are going to remember.
Well, and it's the ones who have the teaching bug, right? The ones who
Right.
like got bit at some point and they were like, this is everything. This is the impact and the change I can make in a single child's life is astounding, and the impact you can make over the course of a career, and for me now, the impact I can make by impacting a teacher who can impact all their kids. Like it's just, I can't stop.
Just wow, right?
Yeah, just wow. It's awesome. The team always laughs at me because we go after Mastery Chat, we do a Facebook Live afterwards, and we do one before. And after the chat, they always say, Tiffany, how you feeling? And every week is the answer is the same because I can't come up with other adjectives. I'm awesome. This is awesome. This whole chat is awesome. That describes my opinion about education.
That's great. And it's been really awesome having you on. We've
Thank you.
we've been talking about Mastery Chat, the Teach Better team, a little bit about math and balance, but we are getting to the point where we are really stinking close to the end, which means it's time for our high fives.
Oh golly.
These are just some simple ways, totally non-education based,
Okay,
5 questions to get to know you a little better. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. First one. We're getting into the fall season.
Yes.
Least favorite pumpkin spiced item.
I don't like pumpkin spice.
Okay, so all of
So
them.
all of them.
Excellent. Excellent. Second one, favorite Halloween candy.
Reese cups,
Mm,
hands down.
truth.
Hmm.
My wife likes candy corn. I mean, candy corn isn't her favorite, but I never
Mm.
understand the candy corn love.
I I have a mom tax every Halloween.
Hmm.
It's requirement that all the kids provide me with at least 2 or 3 Reese cups. It's the mom tax.
I
I
love
get
it.
it. It's just how it works.
I have a student. He actually subscribes to the channel. He last year, the day Halloween, I always tell the kids, "Hey kids, don't forget my favorite candies, Reese's." He brought me in like 2 big bags of Reese's from.
Oh, nice.
Oh, man.
That's great.
Okay, question 3. Last non-ed book that you remember reading.
Oh, okay. So a friend of mine actually challenged me to read something, and she said it can't be educational, and I said, "Oh, fine." So I read the book Redwall. I read it when I was in 6th grade. It's by Brian Jacques.
Is that
There's
about
a
the
whole
mouse?
it's about the mouse.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I loved this book, so I read it again. So that's what I read.
Awesome. Question 4. Crocs as footwear. Yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay?
Nay, nay, nay.
I would wear them all the time.
Are you
In
serious?
fact, whenever I'm not in school, I'm basically wearing them.
I'm always in flip-flops. I hate real shoes.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so Crocs though, they're enclosing. I like my feet free. So I
Uh,
just go with flip-flops.
yeah, my wife before we got married wasn't okay. She vetoed the idea of Crocs as our footwear. So
Oh,
I know, right?
yeah, I don't, not a good
And
book.
yeah, no. And the last one, pink or yellow lemonade?
Pink.
Pink.
Yeah, yeah. You make it homemade with like crushed blueberries. So good.
Okay, I never really understood how you get it to be pink. So is it the
They're-
blueberry?
That's how I do it. I
Okay,
nuke some blueberries and then put the juice in, and it's a delightful pink color.
cool. Awesome.
I don't know if that's how you're supposed to, but that's how I do it.
I mean, hey, it sounds really good to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
Well, hey, Tiffany, before we sign off, any bits of wisdom you want to impart on our viewers before we head out?
Bits of wisdom. Just do it. Whatever idea you're thinking, whatever thing you're like, maybe I should try this, or this seems like a good idea, stop thinking about it. Just do it. It might be a glorious disaster, but that's okay. You have to try and you have to push yourself and you have to just go forward and change the world.
Awesome.
That's my philosophy.
I love it. That's great. Well, hey, Tiffany, we've loved having you on the show today. Thank you to the viewers for watching today. If you want to connect with Tiffany on Twitter, you can check out the Twitter handle in the description of the video, as well as the 15 billion other places you can find her, as we've learned today.
Lots.
If you like what you've seen today, please consider subscribing to the show. And if you or a friend are interested in being on Edusations, you can go to philstrunk.com/contact. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.